Hi, Rashida.
Like a beatbox kind of, beatbox vibes and sing a super tune, like
Listen,
road march or something.
anything can happen. You can make money off of anything, yeah? Don't forget that.
That's Instagram, right?
This is IG,
There's Facebook.
Facebook. Red Bushing, how are you? Right, Facebook, we are live. Good morning, folks. Jared Best Michelle.
Lyndon Bradford.
Sales as a Profession 2019, folks.
First episode of the year, and we are pleased to have Adrian Havelock, author
of the succeeding sales and in life.
So, I think everybody who follows me knows who Adrian is. And even before that, they would have known who Adrian is because he has an excellent book that's out that I think everybody should read. And if you have not seen it in a bookstore, it means it's sold out.
Possibly.
That's very
correct.
possible. And if you have seen it in a bookstore, definitely grab a copy, take 2-3 days and sit down and read because that is going to be one of the best times you're going to have. I'm going to give you a little bit of secret about Adrian's book, and you said it before, and I think that's why I wrote it in when I gave it the review. Reading Adrian's book is a real nice way to sit down in Adrian's class without paying the price of Adrian's course. So it's a real good trade-off in terms of price. You ain't find so?
Trinity's like freeness.
It's a steal of a deal. Hey Assad, morning. Right? So that's just my little bit of tip for everybody right now. Like if you really want to get a kind of taste of what Adrian offers, that book is what you need to definitely pick up and start reading. So Adrian, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
Anything we left out, any kind of summary to give us, let us know a little bit more about you.
I mean, you guys know a little bit about me, and tell your audience.
No,
What do you know?
you give us, you tell your audience, you tell the audience, man. I know everybody's looking forward to this one.
Alright, here's a bullet point synopsis of what I do. Sales trading is my core. I do sales trading mainly for the corporate entities, mainly for companies. I go in and I customize and I have programs for them. My training style is very unorthodox and different, so those of you who are on here already seeing me and who has been a part of my sessions, you know that firsthand. But I also do training, technical training for BMW for the Caribbean region.
Very good.
Because that's one of my passions, and BMW takes me to different countries to do technical training every time a new car comes out. So I have fun doing that.
Very good.
Nice.
Wrote 2 books, went to Hollywood, received an award for becoming a best-selling author, and on top of that, I do speaking as well. I think that one wasn't a thing that I pursued really, but it just came as part of what I do. People just wanted me to come and talk to their audience or their teams and stuff like that. So that's it in a nutshell.
Nice.
All right. So I would. So let me put it. Let me start by asking this then. So I remember, I think when you were working on the book somewhere in 2016 or in 2017, I remember that you did put a snippet of it there, and I was actually very, very impressed because of the fact that we don't have a lot of local authors writing books as in relation to things like sales and stuff like that, right? And because it's also
no, I think that's the first book I've seen locally written on sales.
Really?
I will have to double check my memory, but locally, as a Trinidadian author writing about sales, that's the first book I have seen.
And I felt the same way, right?
Yeah.
So I would want to ask you, what would have inspired you to write the book? Because the title of the book is How to Win or How to Be Successful in Sales and in Life. And what was your inspiration in terms of writing the book? One on the aspect of sales, and then tying it into the whole life aspect as well.
Well, because of my background in sales, started off as a salesman, transitioned into doing training and development. I realized, okay, it's only one of me, and only so much I could spread myself to reach out to so many people.
Right.
And I told myself, you know what? All right. This is also part of entrepreneurship. What's also another way to reach more people while at the same time you could make some more money as well? Write a book. So it seemed like a next step transition that was just natural to go through that process. And I said, you know what? Let me sit down and start writing this book. And I did that. But writing it actually took me a year and 2 months in just writing, not the publishing aspect of it.
Oh, wow.
Because I wrote only when I had, how to say, inspiration and motivation. Not because I dedicated myself. I rather take the creativity in the moments when the inspiration was high. So once, twice a week, I'd sit down and write, not every day.
Right. Well, that actually, I could attest to that because I do some writing as well along the lines of blogs, and I know that for me, some of the best writing is when you're actually inspired. For me, I can't write when I'm driving, right? So some of the inspiration I might pick up on that time, but in relation to the book as well, how would you say that the book now translates itself in terms of in terms of helping the sales community, helping salespeople, in relation to the content and from the message that you want to get across to them?
Well, I can't tell you from my opinion because I'd probably be talking from an area of ego.
Mm-hmm.
But what I can tell you is what people have told me.
Sure.
So that would be, a better synopsis or a summary of what the impact the book would have then.
Right.
And a lot of people who have sent me selfies with the book, who have sent me messages separately either on WhatsApp or Facebook or Instagram. Those of them who already have read the book or in the process of reading the book, they told me, hey, this book is a real eye-opener. Like, I could approach customers differently.
Correct.
Right? And they still want to do training on top of that.
Right.
Right? But simple things like the phone call, what you say and how you say it, like, they start using it and they use it on me and I didn't even realize they were using it on me because they use the technique and then they laugh, hee hee hee. I was like, oh wait, you're using that stuff
Right.
on me.
So you start using
so it working on me and I didn't even realize.
Right. So they're implementing. So they, based upon the content of the book, they have the ability of implementing it, let's say real time, towards achieving different things in terms of how to make better phone calls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And since sales, as they say, is what we all live and that's what our passions are, what do you think right now in Trinidad and Tobago might be one of the biggest downfalls in terms of how sales professionals appear towards the public? 'Cause I know that's a big issue. I know some persons always say it kind of comes across a lot like the insurance industry where they come across as being pushy, but what do you think overall is how people view salespersons in this industry and what can be done to improve it?
Well, you remember Daniel Pink spoke about this. He talked about the history of the salesman and why they have this image that's not necessarily a positive image because of the history behind it. It's not a good image, right? That people, they think a salesperson is a pushy person, of course.
Right.
And people who are in sales now, it's a hurdle for them to overcome.
Right.
Because I'd start sales and I'd come to say, I'd approach you, but then now I have some reservations because now I'm beginning to think, what if this guy is
thinking that you're a pushy person?
exactly,
Yes.
and now that would make me not come across as confident,
Right.
and not be as skillful. Probably over time I'll get there, but overall I see that that's a fear that people have in approaching the profession.
Right.
And for people who are not in profession but observe others, they have that stigma that's still attached to them. They still think that these salespeople are trying to push their product or service on them.
So what you're saying is that the stigma is already affecting the salesperson's confidence in terms of how they actually go about making that initial approach to customers.
Even before they make the approach,
Okay.
it's there, and the challenge is to overcome. How do you overcome that stigma, right? So the book gives you certain practical techniques that you can attempt. You will only know if you attempt it
Right.
to overcome it, right? So you'll say do this, but don't do it this way. Everybody else does it that way. If somebody would come to you and do it that way, how do you feel? And you'd be like, I feel like I'm being pushed, Right, then do it this way. Try this and see how it goes.
That's what for me, what I always say for our sales industry, I've seen persons do the same things over and over and over, that it doesn't get them the best success rate, but the issue I have with it, which a lot of them don't realize, is that, as you said, it leaves the bad taste in the customer's mouth.
Exactly.
So even if you do succeed in making a sale, the customer felt, as you said, that they didn't make an honest decision in terms of choosing it. They felt like they were pushed into the decision.
Correct.
And once you then decide, was like, I've fed up with sales professionals doing this all the time.
Yeah.
So to me, that's why I like the fact that it have people like you out here actually, as a learner, I was talking about updating how sales professionals should actually be selling in 2018, 2019. Because to me, that I think is the biggest thing. Because when I meet a lot of sales professionals and they hear them talk, as they say, because we do it, we go into sales, we're thinking that's not how you should sell. Like, you totally missed the point. You're just selling, that's just a feature, selling features. Like, I know this already.
Correct.
Give me something else that'll be of value, something I didn't know, some kind of wow factor.
You see, a lot, and that is the thing. People go in sales thinking, okay, I'm gonna sell this phone, right?
Right.
Let's say the phone has 5 fantastic features. You want to go in and start telling the customer everything about the 5 fantastic features. But the problem with that is that the customer might only need 2 of those features.
Correct.
That is specific to them. So instead of you go and preach about 5 of the fantastic features, 3 of which they don't need,
Yep.
right? They'll feel like you're pushing them to buy the phone.
That's correct.
Yeah.
But we all know that questions is key.
Mm-hmm.
You ask the customer questions, what they like, what they don't like, what they want to use it for, and so on. And then you'll be able to identify what's the 2 main features that they are interested in. And then you just sell them on those 2 features. One is less work for you because you have to talk less.
You're right.
Because there's less content you have to talk about. You only have to talk about 2
Two
features,
things.
not
Yeah,
5.
correct. Yeah.
You know? So if you all as salespeople or you all in the professional sales, you could talk to your customers and really try to get information from them. Ask them questions, find out what they want, what they need, what they like, what they don't like. What's the main reason behind buying this in the first place?
Yeah.
Then you can identify what specifically about this you can sell to them, and not the whole 9 yards, not the whole package.
Nice.
So I like what you're saying there, right? Because before you came, Jared and I were talking a lot about what January meant for us and what we think it should mean for sales professionals. Now, at the same time, we've been focusing on the sales profession, but a large percentage of our audience are also entrepreneurs. But entrepreneurs, they also have to sell their business.
Yep.
So would you say that the biggest aspect coming out of this is really starts off with having the right mindset?
Of course.
Which is along the lines of having the confidence and of course buying into certain resources that would help you to build, whether it's listening to you, myself, Jared, reading the right books, or actually having sales managers and leaders help encourage people to have the correct mindset.
It's a combination of those things, but you need to make mistakes.
Correct.
You need to go and try to apply what we're saying, what the trainings, what the books, everything say, you know, but you need to make mistakes. I remember once when I was 20 years old, this was just before I did my first sales training. I'll hold it backside, right?
I know always look young now. You and Lyndon is beyond this age thing, and I just say,
Yeah, you seen any grades? Watch that hairstyle. Watch that. Look, I get a little grade. You have some grade. He shaved it off so nobody will see it. You know, why I remember I was 20 years old, I called a customer repeatedly.
right.
Until that customer tell me, hey, stop calling me again. I find you harassing me. Right? I stay home the next day because I feel bad. Now nobody else knew the conversation I had with the customer, but I felt so bad I stayed home the next day. Right? And only now, I mean nowadays I admit that. But I learned from it. I never did it again.
Correct.
Right? I went and I did a sales training course. Right? My very first sales training course was with Dale Carnegie locally here in Trinidad, and I applied the techniques. And up to this day, I would still recommend if you could do that course, do it. Right? Do all the sales training courses you can do. You get different perspectives, you get different techniques, you get different approaches, and you know how to approach different things in the best way you can. Once you do the different versions. And to this day, I remember that conversation I had with that customer, and he told me, don't call him again, you know, I'm harassing him. And, you know...
But did it teach you to adjust the techniques though? Because for me, like one of the things which I did last year, which kind of work, is that like once I know, depending on the type of customer I'm approaching, I change how I communicate to them. So in other words, I would try anything from text messages to phone calls to email to in-person visit, and I kind of rotate it based on the kind of feedback I might initially get from them. But it all depends on how you have to do your business. So in other words, if you're just a telemarketer, that's kind of hard for you to change your strategy. But then, given that some of us will be always out on the road, it might be easier for us to actually apply different strategies. So for me, once I know I have to communicate with somebody, I always start to think, what's the best way to get in contact with them if I don't get them through this first venue?
Yep. It also depends on the time of day you try to contact them as well.
What do you think is the best time of day?
Well, I can tell you from my experience, let's say, let's use one form of communication. Let's use emails, for example.
Right.
I've always noticed, and this is from experience with emailing, and I did a lot of emailings over the years, because I guess I'm here today because of that, right?
Right.
So I knew what mistakes I made. I also knew what worked.
Right.
Over time, you figure that out. You have to figure out what works best for you.
Nice.
Because different people in sales work in different industries, so you have to understand the industry that you're in to know what would work best for you. Because emails might work for one person, it might not work for him. Something else might work for him.
Correct.
So, using emails as an example, when I used to email people, I realized that if you email somebody before 7:45 on a Monday morning, as well on a Thursday morning, you'd quicker get a response from them than any other day of the week. Because on a Friday morning, people studying weekend, and on a Monday morning they're trying to prep for the week. So
Right.
if you email them and you send that message before 7:45 in the morning, it will be one of the first emails they're gonna get in their inbox.
Yeah.
And chances of response will be much higher. Same thing on a Thursday morning.
I used to do that technique. Like, I know if I had to email customers to get stuff done, this back when I was in corporate sales, I would do the email the night before,
Right.
then
And
wake
send
up
out,
between
yeah.
6 in the morning,
And just
and
click send.
by 7 o'clock, just click send.
Just right. At
So-
Monday morning or Thursday morning, I used to do that.
Oh, nice.
And it used to work. I used to get responses much more than any other times
In the day.
Any day or,
So-
or time of week.
So
So,
similar
but
to
when
how,
the day running, when the day running, remember your schedule, the person's schedule and pumping, so you don't have time to pay attention to that and don't get lost.
Yeah.
yeah, so what Adrian would have done there, even before we had Google Analytics and Instagram Analytics and Facebook
I had
Analytics,
human analytics.
that's just human analytics. He just realized which days, like for right now, you can go into any Instagram profile and see which day of the week your audience pays attention to you more.
Yeah.
You can figure that out. Adrian, you mentioned something there before when you were talking about the Dale Carnegie, all right? Where you said that you invested in a program to help you,
Yeah.
all right?
Yeah.
One of the things that I have actually found or seen, and this is from my days being in sales until I now moved into being an entrepreneur full time, is that I've seen that where a lot of sales professionals, customer service professionals don't take the initiative to invest in themselves. Is that something that you have seen on your, because to me it seems as though they may
Doing
not
it
do it
for the
until the
company.
company is doing it
Which
for
is
them.
wrong.
And in most instances, the company might, and I have seen companies shelve sales training because they move the budget based upon the sales performance of that particular year.
Not only that, some have the horrible opinion thinking if you train them, they will leave.
That too.
That's a dumb
Yeah.
opinion that other companies have.
So, would you say that it's people taking the opportunity to invest in themselves? One is an asset. Two, and it will definitely help. Just like how they invest in themselves to do their masters and their degrees, investing in the profession that you're in to become better is a plus.
Well, think about it this way, right? You have to invest in yourself all round. Personal development, mentally, spiritually, in terms of techniques, in this case in sales, right?
Right.
Motivation, right? Personal development overall, you should invest in yourself. Now, there are a lot of free shit online. Go online.
Yes,
Go on
boy.
YouTube.
Correct.
It's free.
I think
You're
the
looking
three
at
of
this
us-
live for free.
I think
And
the
that's
three
good.
of us need to start doing some posts of that on LinkedIn and share all the free resources like Google and YouTube.
Is there?
Right?
Is
But
there-
if you want to go and do something that's certified or professional and get a certificate, fine, go ahead and do it. When I did Dale Carnegie, I learned a certain technique. And then practicing the technique after I did the training, I realized certain things that didn't work with Trinidadians and certain things that did work. And then I developed through practice and talking with people and figuring out shit that, hey, maybe I could incorporate this because my personality is
That's
this way,
correct.
that customer's
That's correct.
personality.
That's correct.
And then you see another course or you see somebody give a free tip or something like that and you start to incorporate it. And when you start to pull these different techniques, you come together and you develop your own technique that
Right.
will work best for your target audience. Right? Because somebody who works in the oil and gas industry versus the retail industry versus the
Automotive,
you know,
financial services.
the majority of the sales process might be the same, but there are certain tweaks to it that you might have to, customize.
Very true.
That's
right.
Very true.
So when you pull these different teachings from all over, you realize what work and what don't work. I realized that in the US market and stuff like that, they heavy on cold calling and telemarketing. Trinidadian customers like to meet you face to face and deal with you. Now you could
depending on certain transactions, but
Exactly.
yeah, but
You
majority of the stuff.
the majority of people like to see your face.
Yes.
They like to see your face. And I realized, okay, I realized for trainees I don't sell too much over the phone anymore, only because of the industry that I'm in.
Correct.
So I just use the telephones to set up a meeting, you
Set
see,
up the meeting, right?
test how interested in the in and stuff like that and see if I could, put them as a good prospect or just process of elimination, that's not a good customer to work with, move on.
Nice.
Right? So, you have to understand what works for you, what works for your industry, figure it out, but you need to pull from these different resources that you could learn from.
And I like the fact that you said that because you are really using your opportunity or you're using your skill set to figure out what works for you, regardless of what all the experts and they say. Because all the advice is good,
Yeah.
but of course you can't try every single. You have to
Correct.
do trial and error, figure out
Yeah.
what works best for you, the salesperson,
Yeah.
and then build on that from there, and that becomes now
Yeah.
your technique, your cadence, your style.
Yeah. Because your style, Lyndon, your personality is different from mine. Jared, your personality is different from mine. You have to understand how to incorporate your personality into your sales process, right? So that you can be genuine and be yourself, and you wouldn't be somebody that come across as false or pushy to turn the customer off.
Agreed. So then, you see, one of my issues I always had though, and it's just from talking to companies, Lyndon and I would have seen it a lot. I've had a lot of companies approach both of us to do training, but then I always give people the stats. I measured it. I think like if I speak to 10 customers, 8 don't actually need sales training. They have way more other issues, and I've looked at it from the case of I can't do the sales training. I would love to do the sales training because you're paying, but at the end of the day, I'm like, the sales training won't help. They're still not gonna get effects on their numbers because they have like X and Y and this issues. Because
other areas
I remember meeting some companies, and when they talk to them and they ask you questions, you be like, no, you have an HR issue, and no, you have a issue with your manager. The sales manager is the problem, it's not the sales training. So you keep talking to so many companies. Is it hard being from your view where they take that feedback well, or is it that some companies just outright oppose it in terms of when you give them that kind of feedback and change it, or they still force you to kind of do the training, still saying just do it?
No company forces me to do anything I don't want to do.
Right.
I tell them as it is. So for example, I do this. You know what? This would come across as a shock to you all, but it's actually not. Every year I come across at least 1 to 2 companies where I have to turn down the training, or at least delay the training,
right,
and tell them, here's what, you need to do product training first, so that when I come to do the sales training, I'll teach them how to use that product knowledge to sell it, because you can't do the reverse, and not until you do that, then I will come in and do it. Because if you're going to do this training with me right now, you will waste some money.
Do you think a lot of companies too as well look for a fast fix? Because they think sales training is going to bring an immediate result. They don't realize that sales training, like for Lyndon and I, how we approach companies, like we think sales training actually can't be a one-time session. It actually has to be something that the company commits to at least within a 3 to 6 month period to have it at least
to develop
on a regular basis. You have to develop it
all the time. Every company want to do. They want to do my full training in 1 full week. No. I am not going to do that. I tell them, I say, hey, here what, bitch, you going to do all this training in 1 week, but how would they remember the content from that entire week training to apply? Let us split up the training 2 days a week, right?
Yep.
For 4 weeks, but in between these sessions they apply it bit by bit by bit, and they come back and they give me feedback. I would also be able to identify who's working and who's a waste of time.
Thank you.
Right? So I would know who to focus on more, who to focus on less, who weak, who's strong, right?
And what you recommend for them to actually fix and improve themselves.
Exactly. So companies they don't prioritize sales training. And here's the thing, of all the departments in a company, you have HR, you have your management, you have your directors, you have your marketing, you have your advertising. All of those I called out there cost money to run. Your sales department is the only department that brings in income. Right?
Department.
But you want to cut back on costs on how much you're going to invest in training? Think about this, right? If you intend or you have a goal to make a couple $1 million, why you want to pinch on a couple $1,000 to spend on a sales training?
That's correct.
Right? So, companies need to recognize and see that it's an investment and not just something that is formality or because they have a budget they should expend on the budget.
No, I'll say this, right, and this ties into exactly what you said, but I'll say this by giving an answer to what I have seen. On 3 instances during the course of 2018, similar discussions I've also seen where the senior executives don't have the confidence that they're going to get back the return on investment.
Yeah, boy.
They don't have the confidence, not from us, but they don't have the confidence in their salespeople.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing with that though, and this is something that I, as I was mentioning to Jared, we can't pull punches anymore because of the fact that we need to be very, very clear in terms of what you want to achieve. This is what you have to be doing.
Yep.
One, there's no sales culture in the organization, right? People just come to work, and I just said they just come to work. So there's no active sales culture in relation as to what the sales environment is supposed to be all about, and I hold the people at the top responsible for that, right? And then 2, at the same time, you have a lack of drive and energy that's coming from the salespeople, because similar to an episode that Jared and I would have done, when things get hard, people tap out. It was like the New York Knicks a while ago, where they just got so accustomed to losing that they were willing to be the last team on the bottom just so that they can get a top pick and just get one hot person,
right,
and then hoping that changes. Well, they got Porzingis, and Porzingis is still not changing. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
So there are a lot of things that relates into that, but it's an overall cultural mindset that starts from the tip top, that filters all the way down to the bottom.
Here, my next question, which I believe is an honest thing that a lot of managers and a lot of companies who hire sales professionals like us don't realize. We can come in and we do the best kick-ass training ever, but they fail to realize that it's not going to have an effect on everyone. I think they fail to, and that could be over a 3 to 6 month period as well.
Right.
I think they also fail to realize that it doesn't work on a high percentage of them too as well.
Right.
Because not all the time the correct thing will hit with everybody. If you understand what I mean. Because I've been in companies where I would honestly tell you, if I'm training 10 to 15 people, 7 I know is not gonna have impact on it. And I've done it multiple times and I've seen it multiple times, which is why I know. So I'm actually saying this honestly, and to me it just comes from the perspective of I think that's why companies have the hesitation on investing in it, because they say it's not going to work. But again, I always tell companies, well, fire the people who are not working, because if you look at the history of the people who can't sell, it's never the people who sell it.
It boils back down to the Pareto principle. You have the 80-20
Yep.
rule, right? There's an 80-20 in everything. 80% of the sales in a lot of companies comes in because of 20% of the efforts of maybe 20% of the sales team, right? The rest of the other teams are just floating. Now, here's another thing I could add to that point, right? Sometimes it's not the low confidence of the higher management. Sometimes I have noticed that sales is a job you have to push, you have to work for, right? It is a good foundation if you want to own a business. If you want to get into entrepreneurship, you want to have your own thing,
Right.
It's a good foundation, good practice. It'll teach you how to do that little hustle in terms of a communication, because it don't really feel like a hustle if you really enjoy what you do, right? But that foundation sometimes is skewed when you have salespeople, I tell management this, who get a very high salary and live a comfortable life. And then when you want to dangle commission in front of them, they're not pushing because they can afford everything. You know, I could pay for my house.
You actually responded to that when you spoke about it, and you corrected it, because again, it's a mindset thing where you said you only worked on commission, you didn't work on base salary.
No, I didn't work on base. When I was in sales, I only worked on commission. When I didn't sell, there were times I didn't sell. Sometimes a month, 2 months would pass and a sale is in process, but it ain't finalized.
They can't get it
right? So until it finalized and it paid for it full and the vehicle delivered or something, then I would have gotten paid. So not working on commission gives you the drive to push harder. But had I let's say I was getting a salary, I would have probably put less effort.
Right.
I would still try to push to get sales. But if my salary is $10,000-$15,000 a month, and then you want to try dangling commission, I can afford everything I need.
Especially when your base is covering what most of your expenses.
Exactly.
You have money to live and party on.
Exactly. So right now, if I were to consider myself, let's say, a salesman in the business that I do, if I don't work, I don't get paid.
You don't get paid. It's like,
right now.
It's like the doctor. If the doctor doesn't open a shop.
No, I don't have a boss over me or a company paying me a salary. I need to work in order to get paid. I need to do jobs.
Yep.
So this is why I have to look at different ways in which I could reach out to new customers. This is why my work is not just right here in Trinidad. You all see me flying and doing work all over the place. So it's part of the hustle, but when you enjoy the hustle, it don't feel like work.
It don't feel like work.
Yeah.
So
feel like
So that goes into this, right? So if we have to tie this back in, and it could just be a simple yes or no, so that we are saying, based upon your point there, that salespeople should definitely develop a business acumen or an entrepreneurial mindset. Even if your title is as an employee of whether it's sales rep or sales executive, your mindset should be that of a business person within your organization.
Yes. That's what I did when I was doing sales. I used to think of it like I had my own, because I always told myself I want to have my own business, I want to have my own company.
That's correct.
And I used to envision it back then as, I have a big building with staff and whatnot and things like that. I mean, I don't have that because I'm still like, a one-man show with the different work that I do.
Yeah.
But it's still a business. But back then, that was my vision. I used to see myself as, all right, I need to sell these products and so on on my own, to approach it like a business. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay. Guys, we might have to interrupt for a minute.
My orange book and then have a pen.
Alright. Hold on, guys.
That's all. So that's all. So guys, if you don't know, this is Adrian's book. As we said, you can get it in Nigel Arakan. It's like $150. So for those of you who want to invest in yourself, you have spent $150 liming in a bar. I'm sure you spent $150 in some nonsense that you're doing. Right? This here is a very good investment to start in 2019. Right? Yeah.
Right. So right now somebody is actually interrupting the live so that I could sign copies of this. If you want any copies of this, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or locally in Trinidad and Tobago at Nigel Arakan stores. But call first because some of the stores already sold out.
Yeah.
So you need to find out which stores have and just tell them hold it for you, and they'll hold it for you within a 24-hour period, I think. And you can get a copy.
You're good to go.
Yeah, I gotta sign these right now.
So, Jimmy,
but I
while Adrian is signing, I think what I'll say is that I think what we were able to cover here is a lot in relation to our theme for January, right? That the mindset of the individual, the mindset of the salesperson, the mindset of the entrepreneur has to be one where we have to go out, we have to raise our level. This is your life at the end of the day. Right?
Thank you.
This is your life at the end of the day, and you are highly responsible. So as we start January 2019, we really want to encourage you guys to really shift your focus towards changing your approach to the way that you do your work.
Yep.
Reach out and ask for support. Invest in yourself. As I say, go for the free stuff first if you can't afford a program.
There's no better year to invest in yourself invest in yourself than 2019. I kid you not. To make back that money, invest in yourself.
Yeah, it's
A lot of you all don't realize it.
and you're supposed to be your biggest return on investment, because there's so many things that come out. Even if you spend, let's say you spend $1,000 on yourself in terms of investing, what you are supposed to get back, what you will get back, is not just from things monetary, but you improve your confidence, you build out your network. There's so many more things intangible that you get coming out of that's really important for you as a salesperson starting off in your year in terms of sales, whether you're in the career or you're in year number 10 with your
You could be
organization.
near 30, you're still supposed to be learning.
That's correct.
I don't think you're not supposed to stop learning in sales or in any field that you're in, which is why one of the things that I enjoy. So to me, guys, as we kind of wrap up on everything, you see an example here, and one of the key things that I just want to take, which was the only thing I'm hearing that Adrian is saying, is that you need to invest in yourself. You need to take the money and spend it, because when you do that, you get back that return on investment, and return on investment is a commission.
But it's three of them wanted it, so you choose whether it's George, Desmond, or Norris.
Right?
So thanks for taking the time to plug in with us, guys.
Any questions? Do you have any questions?
No, yeah, any question, guys? Actually, my last question for you. In 2019, what does a sales professional have to do to succeed? And succeed, I do it from a selfish point. If you want to make more money, because that's how some of them don't think. Because to me, yes, I know I'm providing a product or service and I want to help my customer. At the end of the day, we're in sales. We want to make money. What do we need to do in 2019 as a sales professional to make more money?
You need to be true to people. Be honest, be consistent, and really try to look out for their best interests and not your best interests. And if you could do that, people will gravitate towards you more. That's it.
Cool. Nice. Right? Any questions, guys? I know Crystal is on, Trini Orange Crab. I know Sinead Delani, Omari's on. So if you guys have any questions, shoot it us quick, because we're going to wrap it up at the 35-minute mark. But thank you so much for joining as usual. If you know you haven't gotten onto the full live, it's going to be on YouTube probably before the end of this week.
By Saturday,
No school start back.
See if you can grab it.
Look for this book. It's very easy to spot. If you're in Westmall and you walk in Nigel Arakan, it's either be in the best-selling section. If you do have, just hit the aisle here, pass the second or third shelf, and you will see it. I'm in bookstores all the time. I can tell you that for Westmall for sure.
Some fancy directions there.
Yeah, if you walk in Nigel Arakan in Trin City Mall, and you walk straight to the book section by the cashier, it's there.
Yeah.
So you can't miss it. You cannot miss it. Get this book, guys. Have a good start to your year by investing in yourself. All right.
Adrian, I want to say thank you for coming on. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, it's a pleasure being here.
Discussion.
I appreciate it.
Let's test it. Even though we know you, folks, there's one thing I believe in endorsing your product. What car do you drive, sir?
A BMW.
Understand that, right? You can't sell what you don't use. Pay attention to that, folks. All the best.
All right, take care. Peace.
Nah, that was excellent.
Save.
Oh! Let's never get the save option. I'll save it 10 times. I don't care.
No.
Right, and this one here?
Just say finish.
Yeah, the save finish. It's never get to save. Oh, that was excellent.
S-T-U-A-R-T. That's how it's spelled.
How the back, boy?
STUERT.
You interrupt that live in good time and they don't know.
Nah, that was excellent
good.
timing. Yeah, we're gonna check out up to that house.
Maybe you're right about you.
Share. Right. One live done.
Oh, this